Hello, steadfast Taurus, beautiful soul of quiet strength and enduring grace. This is more than just another horoscope video finding its way to you today. The energy surrounding June 27th and 28th carries a message that feels deeply personal, as though something you've been quietly building beneath the surface is finally ready to emerge into the light. Take a slow breath and let that settle in, because if you're here listening at this moment, there may be a reason your journey has brought you to these words. This feels like more than coincidence. It feels like one of those rare moments when life begins gently answering questions you've carried for longer than you realize. As June 27th and 28th approach, a meaningful alignment begins to take shape, bringing together growth, opportunity, and a deeper understanding of where you're truly headed. This is not only about astrology, it's about the way inner readiness and outer timing begin working together in ways that are impossible to ignore. You don't need to spend this season searching endlessly for signs, because the message may already be finding you. Life has been preparing you through experiences that were sometimes subtle and sometimes challenging. The delays, unexpected detours, and quiet disappointments were never proof that you were on the wrong path. They were part of a larger process, helping create the conditions needed for something meaningful to grow. You were never being overlooked by life. In many ways, you were being positioned for what comes next. Deep within, you sensed that something important was waiting beneath the surface, like a seed resting in rich earth, long before the first green shoot appears above the soil. Now that feeling is becoming clearer, and what once seemed distant is beginning to take the shape of a real opportunity. So let me ask you something, Taurus. Are you willing to receive what you've spent so much time preparing for? Because this is more than a forecast. It is a reflection of something you've been carrying within yourself for a long time, and that quiet process is beginning to reveal its purpose. Dreams you once placed aside, especially the ones that felt unrealistic or impossible, may begin returning with new meaning. And Taurus, you may not be walking through this chapter alone. A message, a conversation, or even someone connected to your past could reappear during this period, carrying the clarity, encouragement, or direction you've been hoping to find. Stay open to what arrives, because opportunities often appear when both you and the timing are finally ready. Before we continue, I want to sincerely thank you for being here. Thank you for every like, every comment, every subscription, and every moment you've spent sharing this space with me. Together, we're creating a community built on encouragement, reflection, and personal growth, and your presence here means more than you know. If these messages have brought you comfort, clarity, or guidance along your journey, and you feel called to support this work, you can do so through the link in the description or the QR code on your screen. Your generosity helps keep these videos flowing, helps this community continue growing, and allows these messages to reach people who may need them during important moments in their lives. There is never any pressure, but every act of support is received with genuine gratitude and helps keep this space thriving. And to everyone who has already supported this channel through your kindness, encouragement, or generosity, thank you from the bottom of my heart. Your support helps make all of this possible, and you are an important part of every message that continues to reach someone at exactly the right time. Now, if something in this message already feels familiar, as though it is touching a part of you that has been quietly waiting to be recognized, take a moment to comment below with the number 2728. Let that number be your declaration that you're ready to welcome the blessings, opportunities, and growth you've been patiently moving toward. And trust me, Taurus, you'll want to stay with this video, because what unfolds next may help you understand why this season feels so different. Tell me, what inner shift, what meaningful timing, what quiet change has brought you here today? Let's begin. There are moments in life when something beyond logic begins moving beneath the surface, creating a subtle shift in the way we see ourselves and the world around us. For you, Taurus, that movement is closely connected to the unique astrological atmosphere surrounding the final weekend of June. This is not simply about luck appearing out of nowhere. It is about a deeper understanding that has been patiently waiting for the right conditions to emerge. As June 27th and 28th arrive, something begins settling into place. Rather than opening a dramatic doorway, this alignment reveals strengths, insights, and possibilities that have been quietly developing within you all along. The wisdom was already there, rooted beneath the surface, waiting for the right season to bring it into view. In astrological terms, Jupiter continues its journey through Cancer, a sign connected with emotional wisdom, healing, belonging, and the foundations that support a meaningful life. This influence encourages growth through connection, trust, and a deeper appreciation for what truly matters. For Taurus, the energy feels supportive, nurturing, and grounding, helping ideas become tangible and helping inner understanding take practical form. Yet there is more unfolding beneath the surface. Venus, your ruling planet, continues to illuminate questions surrounding self-worth, value, and what deserves a lasting place in your life. While Jupiter encourages growth and expansion, deeper forces are inviting transformation from within. Together, these energies draw your attention not only to your dreams, but also to the parts of yourself that still wonder whether those dreams are truly possible. They shine a light on the places where you've stayed quiet, held yourself back, chosen safety over expression, or made yourself smaller than you needed to be. And now these influences ask a simple but powerful question. Are you ready to reclaim the parts of yourself that you set aside in order to keep going? Taurus, you are often known for your steady nature, your appreciation for beauty, and your ability to create something lasting. Yet beneath that calm exterior lives a quiet strength that knows how to endure, rebuild, and keep moving forward when others would give up. This rare alignment is not simply encouraging you to trust yourself more deeply, it is asking you to do so. This is not about proving anything to anyone. It is about recognizing that the timing of your growth matters. And if you felt as though your life has been waiting for a meaningful shift, there may be a reason for that feeling. What makes this period powerful is not the astrology alone, but the way everything seems to be arriving at the right moment. Think of a garden that has been patiently growing beneath the surface before the first visible signs appear. June 27th and 28th carry that kind of energy, a point where past effort, hidden gifts, and quiet hopes begin meeting in the same place. Together they create a feeling that gently says, "You're ready." I've often reflected on how growth shows up in everyday life, and the more I observe it, the more I believe that meaningful breakthroughs rarely arrive through spectacle. They appear through alignment, the right conversation, the right realization, the right opportunity unfolding when you're prepared to receive it. What separates an ordinary moment from a life-changing one is often readiness, and readiness begins when you recognize the invitation in front of you. You may have already felt hints of this. Perhaps a thought resurfaced unexpectedly, or a memory from years ago suddenly carried a different meaning. That isn't simply looking backward. It is your inner awareness responding to something that is beginning to move forward. As Jupiter's influence strengthens themes of emotional growth and understanding, that feeling becomes harder to ignore, and what once felt like a distant whisper starts asking for your attention. Trust yourself enough to listen. You do not need every answer today, and there is no need to force the process. What matters is creating enough stillness to notice what is rising within you. There is a reason this message found you now, and it reaches beyond coincidence. What is being offered here is more than information. It is a new perspective that can reshape how you see yourself and your path ahead. Real transformation often begins within your beliefs long before it becomes visible in the outer world, so give yourself space to reflect on what is coming to the surface. Ask yourself, what truth am I finally ready to acknowledge? What desire am I no longer willing to set aside? What story have I outgrown? Because beyond this period of growth is not merely a different chapter, but a different way of relating to your life, a deeper sense of purpose, a stronger foundation for joy. And Taurus, you have been building toward it for longer than you may realize. Some insights arrive quietly rather than dramatically. They appear through a familiar name, an old memory, or a subtle feeling that something once distant is moving closer again. That is the atmosphere surrounding this tarot message now. Taurus, the star, judgment, and the Ace of Swords come together as a bridge between the person you've been and the person you're becoming. These cards do not demand attention, they earn it through quiet truth. The star brings healing to places where disappointment once lived. It speaks of hope returning after uncertainty, not the fragile hope that exists before hardship, but the deeper confidence that grows after you've lived through it. If there is a dream you've carried silently, one you set aside because the timing felt wrong or others failed to understand it, consider this a reminder that it never disappeared. It remained beneath the surface, developing stronger roots while waiting for the right season. Now it begins to return, not merely as a wish, but as something that carries real meaning and direction. In this context, judgment acts like a gentle awakening. It does not arrive to criticize the past, but to help you understand it more clearly. This card invites you to view former versions of yourself with compassion rather than regret. The person you once were was not a mistake. That version of you simply had more to learn and more growing to do. Judgment often appears when you are ready to answer a deeper calling, one that feels more powerful in your heart than in your thoughts. When that feeling arrives, it becomes difficult to keep living only on the surface. Something inside you wants to be recognized and reclaimed. It feels familiar and ancient, it's somehow new at the same time. Then the Ace of Swords enters, bringing clarity the way sunlight suddenly breaks through heavy clouds. Its truth often arrives through ordinary moments, a sentence in a book, a comment from a friend, a memory viewed from a new perspective, or perhaps a message from someone you never expected to hear from again. This card certainly represents mental clarity, but it also offers something deeper. It gives you permission to finally speak the truth you've been circling around within yourself. And this is about more than simply recognizing the truth. It is about speaking it out loud, claiming it as your own, and allowing it to guide where you go next. When these three energies come together, what they offer is a renewal of something deeply important. Not only the return of a dream, but the return of the part of you that believed in that dream before life taught you to hold back. It is the voice within that once said, "This is who I am," before circumstances encouraged you to settle for less than your full potential. This is not a repeat of the past or a second attempt at the same story. It is a genuine beginning because now you carry wisdom, experience, and a stronger foundation beneath your feet. What is growing now has roots. In everyday life, this could appear as an old idea returning with a new purpose, a connection finding its way back into your world, or a path you once avoided, suddenly feeling like the one that makes the most sense. It may even look like an opportunity that slipped away long ago, arriving once more under different conditions. The difference is that now you are prepared to meet it. Even if your first response is uncertainty, there is no need to rush. The message here is not about acting immediately, it is about paying attention. Notice the conversations that begin unfolding around you, and pay attention to how your body responds when certain names, places, or memories return. Trust the feeling that something which once seemed finished may be slowly opening again. The most meaningful transformations often begin quietly. They arrive like a subtle shift in the air rather than a dramatic announcement. Those moments are not random. They are invitations from the version of yourself that already exists beyond the fears you've been working through. So lean toward what is calling your attention, not because someone else is telling you what to do, but because you are finally in a place where you can hear your own inner voice more clearly. Some of life's most important turning points arrive through small moments that are easy to overlook. Then suddenly, something inside you says, pay attention. For you, Taurus, as June 27th and 28th arrive, three meaningful shifts begin to take shape. They may seem unrelated at first, yet they are connected by a deeper theme. Each one points towards something returning to its rightful place. The first may arrive through a familiar name, an unexpected message, or a reconnection that feels surprisingly well-timed. It could involve someone with whom you once shared tension, or someone who disappeared, just as a relationship or opportunity was becoming meaningful. Their return is not necessarily about revisiting old wounds. Instead, they may bring insight, support, resources, or a sense of peace you did not realize was missing. Your instinct may be to protect yourself or question what is happening. That reaction is understandable. Yet this period asks for discernment rather than defensiveness. Allow yourself to consider the possibility that what is returning has changed, or perhaps that you have. Soon after, a dream begins resurfacing. It may be a project, a goal, or even a version of yourself that you set aside when life became complicated and demanded your attention elsewhere. What once felt unrealistic starts looking practical. The timing has matured and so have you. This dream returns with structure, direction, and something equally important: support. This time you may find someone willing to walk beside you rather than leaving you to carry everything alone. They recognize strengths that you may have hidden for the comfort of others, and instead of asking you to dim them, they want to help you build upon them. During this phase, your influence expands naturally. You stop forcing outcomes, yet movement begins happening around you. People listen not because you speak louder, but because your words carry clarity and sincerity. You spend less energy searching for validation and begin attracting what genuinely aligns with the life you are choosing to live. There is a quiet power in that kind of alignment. When you choose peace instead of constant proving, and when you act from clarity instead of control, life responds differently. What seems unexpected may simply be the result of finally standing still long enough to recognize what has been trying to reach you. These moments are not asking for perfection. They are asking for presence. They do not require relentless effort. They require honesty. Who are you now that you have moved beyond so much noise? What are you ready to reclaim? Not because anyone else expects it, but because it has always belonged to you. This is where the quiet transformation becomes real, not through dramatic events, but through the steady rebuilding of your life from the inside outward. One decision, one conversation, and one act of courage at a time. And if uncertainty appears, let stillness guide you. You do not need immediate answers or complete certainty. You only need enough trust to recognize that when something returns and your heart responds to it, there may be a reason. What feels familiar may not be coincidence at all. Perhaps it is the answer to something you hoped for long ago, arriving in a form you did not expect. Let this be the season when you stop mistaking stillness for lack of progress. Let it remind you that true strength does not come from being the loudest voice in the room. It comes from being deeply rooted and centered. And when you do, life doesn't simply react. It begins adjusting around the truth you're finally willing to live. Growth rarely moves through force. More often, it unfolds through alignment, through moments when your inner world and outer path begin working together. And Taurus, you are entering the kind of season where those pieces start settling into place in ways that can quietly reshape everything. Many of the changes that matter most do not begin with dramatic decisions. They begin with small choices, like pausing before responding, taking a breath before speaking, or listening to yourself before seeking answers elsewhere. As the energy of June 27th and 28th settles in, what matters most is not only what you do, but the mindset and presence you bring into each moment. Life responds to the energy you carry. During periods like this, your inner state becomes one of your most valuable guides. This is where personal reflection becomes practical strength, and where simple daily rituals help create the foundation for what comes next. You are not being asked to reinvent your life overnight. You are being invited to become more intentional with the life you are already building. Begin with something simple. Give yourself 10 quiet minutes each morning that belong only to you. Close your eyes, place your hand over your heart, and take a slow breath, as if welcoming a future that is gradually finding its way toward you. Then exhale as though releasing old versions of yourself that no longer reflect who you are becoming. Gently remind yourself, I am being prepared for something meaningful. Whether you fully believe those words today or not is less important than your willingness to sit with them. This is not about forcing outcomes. It is about creating the inner conditions that allow growth to take root. Movement can support this process as well, especially when it comes from care rather than pressure. A quiet walk, light stretching, or simply stepping outside to greet the morning air can help you reconnect with yourself. The body often carries emotions long after the mind has moved on, and gentle movement creates space for those old stories to loosen their grip. The way you nourish yourself matters too. Foods rich in fresh greens, herbs, and natural ingredients can help you feel more grounded and connected. Adding sources of healthy fats, such as walnuts or flax seeds, can support both mental clarity and emotional balance. Alignment often begins with the simple choices we make each day. Color can become part of that support system as well. Surround yourself with shades of sage green, moss green, or soft earth tones that encourage stability and calm. Gentle rose hues can help soften emotional tension and invite compassion toward yourself and others. This is not a season for proving your worth. It is a season for living from it. Numbers may also catch your attention during this period. The number 27 reflects the beginning of an important shift, while 28 carries the energy of completion, maturity, and the rewards of patience. You may also notice 88 appearing in unexpected places, serving as a reminder of abundance, flow, and the results that come from consistent effort over time. Many people search for certainty through signs, symbols, and messages. Yet often the real change begins through a decision to approach life differently, more present, more trusting, more grounded, even when the future remains uncertain. You do not need to see every step ahead. You only need enough faith to take the next one. And if you feel tired from carrying responsibilities that others rarely notice, let this be the period when you allow yourself to receive as well, not only support and opportunity, but clarity and peace. You do not have to solve everything today. You simply need to show up for yourself with the same care you so often offer to everyone else. Even now, something may be quietly taking shape behind the scenes. Keep moving forward. Keep breathing. The most meaningful breakthroughs do not always arrive with dramatic announcements. Sometimes they begin as a subtle feeling, a quiet realization, or a small opportunity that gradually grows into something far greater. Often the most remarkable changes begin after we loosen our grip and stop trying to force every outcome. Taurus, you understand better than most the balance between holding on and letting go. Some of life's deepest turning points arrive not after perfect planning, but after a moment of trust. And that reminds me of a story I want to share with you, not as advice, but as an example of what can happen when you allow life to meet you halfway. She was a Taurus woman who had spent years building a stable life. She had created a successful business, a home filled with care, and relationships she deeply valued. Yet, like many people who quietly carry more than they reveal, she experienced a period when everything seemed to unravel. The economy changed, and the foundation she had worked so hard to build began slipping away. Her business struggled. Her home was no longer secure. A relationship she believed would remain part of her future faded into distance and silence. What she lost was not only material. She lost confidence in the direction she thought her life was taking. For someone who valued stability, loyalty, and creating something lasting, that experience felt deeply personal. For months she pushed harder, searching for solutions, trying to rebuild everything through effort alone. The harder she fought, the more exhausted she became. She felt disconnected from herself and uncertain about what to do next. Then one morning near the end of June, she opened her email and found a message from someone she never expected to hear from again. It came from a former competitor, someone she had once viewed as a rival. The message was simple. It contained a single question. Would you be open to a collaboration? I think we could accomplish more together. Every instinct in her wanted to pull back, analyze every possibility, and protect herself from disappointment. Yet something inside her finally relaxed. Not because she suddenly understood everything, but because she no longer had the energy to keep every door closed. She said yes. That single decision created a chain of events she never could have predicted. Within 6 months, they had built something new together, a venture that respected her talents without exhausting her spirit. Financial stability began returning, but so did something even more valuable. She found her confidence again, her sense of direction, and a joy she thought had been left behind. Her relationships deepened as well. Family connections grew stronger, old emotional wounds became easier to understand, and she made peace with chapters of her life she had carried for years. Even love returned, not as an idealized fantasy, but as something calm, genuine, and steady. It was a connection that never required her to become someone else in order to deserve it. Later, she shared a reflection with her community. She wrote, "The moment I stopped trying to control every outcome, the path seemed to appear beneath me again. I had spent so much energy fighting what was happening that I couldn't see what was trying to reach me. When I finally trusted the process, I found myself exactly where I needed to be." Stories like hers are more common than people realize. They simply tend to happen quietly, away from the spotlight. They begin with an unexpected email, a message, a conversation, or a small opportunity that could easily be overlooked. No matter what name you give to the force behind those moments, intuition, faith, a higher power, or something deeply personal, the pattern remains remarkably similar. Something larger often moves through our lives when we loosen our grip enough to receive it. So if you find yourself standing in uncertainty, Taurus, try not to rebuild everything through logic alone. Leave room for possibilities that may not resemble your original plan, but still carry the feeling of growth and healing. Sometimes one unexpected message and one simple yes can become the beginning of something meaningful. And when that moment arrives, allow yourself to meet it with an open heart. Many people expect life-changing moments to arrive like lightning across the sky, impossible to miss. Yet what if the change you've been waiting for has already begun quietly within you? Taurus, as you move through the energy of June 27th and 28th, pause for a moment and turn your attention inward. Listen to the voice that has stayed with you through every longing, every postponed dream, and every moment your instincts quietly encouraged patience. That voice may be far more important than any external sign. You are not simply someone searching for stability. You are someone learning how to bring inner truth into practical reality. You stand between who you have been and who you are becoming. And during this period, every choice carries greater meaning than it may appear to on the surface. Each intentional pause becomes a seed. Every decision made from clarity instead of pressure becomes part of the foundation you're building. Every moment you trust your own timing, rather than someone else's expectations, helps shape the future taking form around you. This is how meaningful growth unfolds. What makes this season beautiful is that it does not require perfection. It only asks that you meet each day with a little more awareness, a little more trust, and a little more openness than before. The practices we've discussed are not rules to follow. They're reminders of who you already are beneath the noise. Can you begin your mornings with greater intention? Can you speak your dream aloud again, even if your voice feels uncertain? Can you remain open to the people returning to your life, not because they were flawless before, but because both you and they may have grown since then? This is your invitation to move forward with calm confidence rather than urgency. Let this season be remembered not for how quickly results appeared, but for how deeply you rooted yourself in what matters most. Lasting growth comes from strong foundations. You do not need to chase what belongs to you. The qualities you've been searching for already exist within you. They emerge when courage meets patience, when clarity meets trust, and when Taurus stops waiting for perfect conditions and begins honoring the wisdom already present inside. So let me ask you, what will you do with this moment? What truth are you ready to live more fully? What part of yourself are you prepared to reclaim? And most importantly, are you willing to release outdated versions of yourself so you can grow into who you are always capable of becoming? If this message resonates with you, leave a comment below and write, "I welcome the blessings I have been patiently growing toward. I am ready to step into my strongest self." Let those words become more than a comment. Let them become a promise you make to yourself. And if this video awakened a memory, a feeling, or a sense of recognition within you, consider sharing it. Someone else may be waiting for exactly the encouragement you received today. A single story can become the moment that helps another person see their own path more clearly. Before we continue on our separate paths, remember this: you are not walking alone. This space exists to offer insight, encouragement, and reflection for those navigating their own season of growth. Thank you for being here, for spending this time with me, and for allowing yourself to stay open to what is unfolding. If you've not already, take a moment to like this video, subscribe, and leave your comment below. These simple actions support both this community and your own commitment to the journey you're on. And if these messages continue to bring you clarity and comfort, you can support the channel through the link in the description or the QR code on screen. Every contribution helps keep this space growing and allows these messages to reach those who need them. To everyone who has offered support through your kindness, encouragement, or generosity, thank you. Your presence helps make this space possible. Taurus, this is not an ending. It is simply the moment when one season gives way to the next, and what comes after is shaped by the truth you choose to live.